Well, good morning guys. In this video I want to take a look at one of my first projects. It's the one that has the most views on YouTube. It's the one with almost 3,000 views. I wouldn't ever expect it to get that much attention, but there were some things in the design that really did bother me, and it was especially the soldering done on it and the way it was connected, because sometimes I actually had to physically press on the PCB to get some of the LEDs to work. So that was the state that controller was in, and because it was made out of wood, and I'm terrible at working with wood, so the end result wasn't just up to my liking. You guys liked it a lot in the comments, it seemed, and on Reddit I got lots of upvotes of people who liked it, but me myself, I wasn't all that satisfied. So let's take a look at the current state, what I've improved, what I've learned, and we're going to test some new features for our connector like the gears to see if that is working, because I have to do some testing anyway, so why not just do that with you guys to see how that process goes, right? So have fun. If you want to keep updated, subscribe, and if you like this video, like, and let's dive right in. As we're able to see, I've actually changed the complete front of it. I kept most of the wooden enclosure, and that's just because I like the weight it added. Like, wood is a bit more heavier than this thin layer of plastic. But I just think the overall finished look looks just way more better, especially if you take a look at, you know, these attempts at burning in the letters in the wood. I used soldering iron for this, and this just isn't the tool for the job. And next to that, besides that, my handwriting isn't just on par to do something like this. But now we're clearly able to see how I had to approach using this thick wood, because I had to create some holes behind the holes to make sure that all the components fitted. The downside is that lots of times the wood chipped because I got too close to the other end, and that would just affect the overall quality. You can still see an LED that was stuck in there, so I couldn't get it out, so I just cut it off. Let's take a look closer, shall we? Here we go. We have our icing, we have our landing lights, strobe lights, beacon lights. Somebody on Reddit always said that this handwriting was... So we started to create his own translation, like, I don't know. I can't remember what he said, but I remembered bacon for BCN, here, bacon. And I thought that was funny, so I kept that in. It's my bacon light. I have my cabin lights, panel lights, nav lights, taxi lights, gear up, and autopilot on or off. Now, we've created a video with the light states, and in that video we had a way to actually get a state from the game and send it over to our lights. Well, in this case I just stuck to the old approach, just as out of nostalgia, that the in-game state corresponds to the switch state, so the light state always corresponds to the switch state. So we don't have to get the light state. We know that if this button is down, we always will be sending an action towards the game saying this light is off. So in that case, the light will also be off. Let's take a look how we soldered this. Ta-da! This is the new toggle box. This was the old soldering. Perhaps some of you will wake up with nightmares after this, because I all soldered it to the wrong side, because look, here are the wires coming out, and this is the side where you can solder on. So that was just yeah, it was my first attempt, so obviously. Right now we can see that we have some nice crispy lines, no clutter, left lots of spacing, and this just looks so much better. I will show you in a second. No, let's show it right now how it used to look, so you can actually see the difference. As you was able to see, I also had my grounds. I still have that all running to one board, but I meant the power. The power was connected in the old setup on the PCB, and then it run a wire to every switch from the PCB. You're able to still see that here. Here the power came in, and then here were 8 cables connected, and those were going to the toggles. But this is just very ineffective. This was a mess. It didn't always connect, so this time I just went with a little nice daisy chain going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the power just runs in a nice circle. Beneath here are some... Come on, just let me show you. I hope it's... Yeah, you can see it. Are some 9K resistors, I believe. I had to use between 1 and 10K, and these are just to pull the signal down if it's not connected. These are the same as we've used in, let's say, this one, or these, except this was, look at this. That this even worked, or didn't set anything on fire, I don't know. But I'm glad we are learning and we are improving. That's the most important part. So that's actually the overhaul. Let's just have some fun and see it in action and see if we can get this one to work as well with the gear. So we're going to be looking at if we raise the gear, that the lights are going to change. If it's down, lights are going to be on. And if we lower the gear, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? Yeah. If we lower the gear, the lights are on. If we raise the gear, the lights have to go off. And I want to make sure that each gear corresponds with the different lights, so front, wheel, etc. To make sure that we have some special things going on. I hope. Perhaps not. I'm gonna see. Okay, so first of all, what I did is I'm gonna show you some... Let me see. Here's the code. I've added some extra variables for the upcoming update. This is just a sneak preview, so I'm not going to go in all depth. I'm not going to explain everything in detail. It's just a global sneak preview for you. We have the flaps, we have the gear, we have the rudder and trim coming. They all have their special thingies going on, but I will explain that in the actual release video. Right now we're going to just test the gears if they're working. And why we're testing the gears? Well, because we have our new toggle box, which has its own gear raise and lower switch. Look at it, hear that sound. It sounds so good. Right now what I did in my code is I've got my test bench and I've got lights A1, A2 and A3. So what happens is if the gear front, gear left and gear right are fully down, you see the lights going on, and the moment they're fully retracted, they're gonna turn off. So that's something we're gonna be seeing if this works, because I just uploaded this code. I'm gonna be looking at this the first time. It seems like something is coming in. Now it's the question if they get raised, and how it looks in game and how it looks on our controllers, because I'm actually pretty excited. This will always have a special place in my heart, this controller. It's the first one and it just looks like, I don't know, it's my little baby, I think. Perhaps someday when I become a more advanced sim player, or at least I know what I'm doing. Oh, I got the throttle open. Then I need to upgrade to something that has more of an advanced setup, because this one has just a global eye switch where all the eye systems get activated automatically, like in game. Cabin lights, panel lights, landing lights, let's turn them on, strobe lights, pulse, yeah. Beacon lights, I have no clue where it is in this plane, I don't even know if it has beacon lights. I guess not. The panel lights don't work as well, I think, and that's because it has those, yeah, see, the turning switches, so it doesn't have an on and off switch. Nav lights not included in the package. Taxi lights. Does this do anything, taxi lights? You don't see any difference, right? Or I'm just missing something. Beacon lights. Oh, it's the one underneath or not? No. I have no clue where those lights are. Perhaps they're not even in the plane. I encountered that a lot, that I'm testing things and it isn't available in the plane I'm flying at that moment. But it seems that it's responding. Autopilots, let's see. That's working as well. Ice systems. It's a bit smaller, so let's zoom in. And that's working as well. So this one is working. It's actually quite a miracle because it's... Normally I have to solder things thrice or perhaps even more. Right now it's working. I had this all soldered up to a new PCB. And then halfway through I decided that it still wasn't up to my liking. And I ripped everything apart again. I resoldered everything to a new PCB again. So this got resoldered thrice in one day. Took me around 9 hours. I wouldn't recommend it because my back hurt in the end and drama. So let's just take a flight and see if these lights start turning off when the gears get retracted and see if we can actually take off. I haven't flown in this plane for quite some time, so I'm going to be quite rusty. Increase the throttle. I got my throttle connected again. Here we go. We're departing from Amsterdam Airport. This is gonna be runway 26, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, it's runway 26. Oops, a bit too much speed. Wiggling, but we're off. Here we go. Kind of a rough start, but perhaps you're thinking, Dave, is your game always this laggy? No, it's only when I record a video as well. And especially if I'm low to the ground, when I'm up in the air, everything's fine. Let's see. Because if I'm correct, and we're going to raise the gears. They're going to get retracted. I see I have them set to 0, so that means that if they're fully retracted, at least... If even the slide is retracted, they go off. I believe if they go down, it only goes on when they're fully retracted. But I can't get them down. Am I too low or too high? I think. No, I don't know. Is it the speed? See, that's the thing. About flying in planes, I have no clue. I'm an amateur. Let's see if something changes here. Okay, something's happening right now, right? Yeah. So I think the plane was protecting me. It says they're stuck at 99%, and that's why they don't go. It doesn't trigger. So that's something I have to work out, apparently. See, that's the reason of testing, that sometimes apparently they can be 99. So now we're gonna lower them again. Or not. So it should be down at 99% again. So that's interesting. It's something I have to look at. It was working just a minute ago, I think. When we started, you could see the lights going on, right? So that means it was at 100%. Let's lower it, lower them or it. %. Interesting. I'm gonna check, and I'm gonna be back with you in a minute. Let's see, round 2, right? What I've changed is that the percentages were coming in from SimConnect to our handler as 0.01, 0.2, 0.3, 4, 5, up to 5 decibels, I believe. So now what I've done is the value that I sent to the Arduino isn't going to be 0.1, so I multiplied it by 100. So 0.1 is going to be 10. So we have 10%, 20%, 30%, etc. instead of the 0 points. So now it's going to be a bit more of a precise scale. And I said if it's bigger or equal to 99, turn the lights on. If it's lower, turn the lights off. So now those little nasty things that you have to check when you're creating something like this. It's just the most of the time goes into testing the variables if they work, but also how precise you want them to be in rounding errors or things you have to convert into other kinds of values. Let's say you receive radians, but you've got to convert them to degrees, like your heading. Then you have to apply another calculation on that, etc., etc. So that's where the most of the time goes to. Okay. We've gained enough speed, I think. I hope. I don't know. Let's see what happens if you raise them. Okay, so now we can actually see different behavior with the same functionality, because at first you had 0 or 1, so it was totally closed, totally open. That means the moment that we got down from 1, it came in as a 0 apparently. So now we've multiplied by 100 for 100, we can see different behavior. Once again, I'm going too fast, I think. Lower throttle, increase flaps. Let's see them coming down. They should be coming down, right? Yeah, here we go. And now if we watch the lights in combination with the plane itself, we can see that these two should light up first and then the third one comes in. And the same should happen if we raise them a bit more speed. First and last one. So this is exactly what we were looking for. Now you can create all those. Nice. Does this one have it? No, it doesn't, right? Like the 4 lights that indicate if your gear is up or down. 3 lights, depends on the plane. Oh, no, you just have the handle. But no clear indication, right? Or gear up. Oh. But it doesn't say for each of the, right? No, it doesn't. I know some of the planes do, where you can see each gear. But I can't see any indication in this one. But that doesn't matter. It's just all those tiny little details at percentages and making sure that it comes in correctly. It comes in correctly on your end to make sure that you get the best experience with the library as possible. In the next update, it will be released later this week, and then I'll go into full details about everything. I've added the flaps, the gear stats, and some rudder and trim stats. Now it's quite, you may think to yourself that are just adding some variables to the equation, and that's kind of correct. But you have to create a checkbox. You have to create a check for the checkbox. You have to create an if statement if the checkbox is checked. Then you have to create a statement that says if the checkbox is checked, get this data from the game. Then the game passes that data. Then you have to say, okay, if this data corresponds to the name of the checkbox or the data variable, store that data. Then we have to send it to the Arduino. Now that's all in one function. Then in the library, we have to say, okay, then we're gonna strip the string again, and then we have the prefix and the value. So then we're going to check again, which value did we receive? Do something with it. Now that means that every variable alone has like 4 or 5 places where it gets selected. We have a place where we say the game, this is what we selected. Then we say the data received corresponds to this value. So that's already 3 steps for one variable. Then we have to send it. do perhaps some calculations with it, because sometimes it's in radians or degrees, and then you have to convert it to degrees or the other way around. And then we have to send it to the Arduino. That's fine. It's just serial communication. And then on the Arduino, we have to decipher the code once again. So you can imagine that if I've added like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe it are between 20 and 30 variables, that the error rate can be quite high. I just uploaded it for the first time to my Arduino, and I only had 3 typos. So that is a world record for me. And apparently the gears are already working. So that's something that's coming up in the release later this week. I hope if nothing goes wrong, I don't expect it to, but I still have lots of variables to check. I still have the other gear settings, the gear handle position, even the hydraulic pressure of the gear, all the flap settings, trailing edge, leading edge, flaps and number handle position, rudder trim, percentages in degrees of the trim. So that's everything I still have to test, check if it works, if you receive the correct values. Just the same for the gears. Right now it's passing every change of the gear handles, not the gear handle, the gear position. So even up to 5 points after the decimal, I believe. So that's a bit overkill, right? You don't need 0.00045% of the change in the gear. So we can cut that off to perhaps even to 5, like 5%, 10%, 50%, 20%, 25%, 30%. Unless you guys are saying we do need that pinpoint accurate precision on the gears, let me know and I'll implement it that way. In the future, you can choose for yourself how accurate you would like it to be. But for now, that's not in yet. So that's a next phase somewhere. So if you want it to be really precise, let me know. And I will alter it, because now I can still do it before release. So that's that. We taken a look at the box. Later this week, we're going to be releasing the new library version and the connector version. The gears are working. This one will always have special place in my little heart. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or send me an email. Lots of you have already found my email address, info@bitsandroids.com. Go to the website, leave a comment, whatever you'd prefer. And if you like it, leave a like, and if you keep updated, subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.